June is Pride Month, a chance to celebrate the LGBTQ community.
Behind every rainbow flag is somebody's personal story. So we wanted to be sure to highlight those stories of LGBTQ Mainers making a difference every day. News Center Maine's Zach Blanchard introduces us to Gia Drew.
Beauty. Gia Drew says she tries to find it everywhere. But it was finding it in herself that took a little longer than planned.
Kids picked up on it, and I got called names, got pushed into lockers, and and that's hard when you're young. And it forced me to hide who I was from the world because I didn't want to face more bullying and harassment. And so I put up all these things to pretend I was someone I wasn't.
Gia is bisexual and transgender, identities she didn't come to fully accept until she was in her 40s. A school teacher and coach, she decided it was time to live her truth and come out to her family, friends, and students, making history as the first out trans teacher in Maine.
When I came out to my students, I said, by the way, you may have noticed I'm looking a little different, and could you call me Ms. Drew instead of Mr. Drew, and could you use she, her pronouns? And they were like, yeah, is that on the test?
But it was not all that simple. It came after years of questioning, hiding, and pain.
The few times I saw people who maybe were challenging gender norms or trans were really horrible stereotypes. And usually in TVs and movies they were killers, or it was horrible. And so I internalized that for myself, that I hated myself. That sucked.
Now, years later, living as her full self, Gia was just named executive director of the state's leading LGBTQ advocacy organization, Equalit Maine. Starting as a volunteer and rising up the ranks, she's become an outspoken advocate in the state, provided countless educational outreach programs to schools and companies, and fought for legislation to prevent discrimination and break down barriers for the LGBTQ community.
Politically right now, there is kind of this resurgence of questioning LGBTQ people and questioning whether or not we should educate kids about what it means to be LGBTQ. Are you afraid for what that means for our future?
I find it sad that, people are using this issue, LGBTQ people, that the fact that we exist in the world as a political thing. We exist. Because I know that the most marginalized, the folks who need the support the most, are the ones who are probably hurt by this the most.
Gia says she will keep fighting to protect LGBTQ Mainers and advance rights they deserve.
Doesn't have a light meter.
Ultimately, to create a future where they don't have to hide like she did.
That's why you're doing what you're doing, right? That's why it is so important, the work you do day in and day out for those teenagers, for those kids.
Yeah, I think folks who are my age or maybe older, many of us have a sort of common tale of some harassment, bullying, or even trauma when we were kids, and that shouldn't have to be the story. The story should be of acceptance and celebration and pride, or maybe no story. Imagine a day where we just get to exist and be ourselves and do what we want to do and not have to worry about these other things. But we're not there yet.
That was Zach Blanchard reporting. Equalit Maine is located inside the Equality Community Center in downtown Portland.
For more resources and a list of Pride events happening all across the state this month, you can head to our website or our News Center Maine app.